Good morning. This is the Get Up and Go Breakfast Show. My name's Dave Burney.
My name is Brent Apperson. Good morning.
Just want to apologize right off the top. I don't remember over the years being in this business or being alive of fighting this allergy thing or whatever's in the air right now.
Oh, I'm right with you.
I just don't have a clear passage here. It's just I don't know what's in there. Maybe smoke, leaves. I don't know what's floating around in the air, but apologize. And so Brent will have to do more talking than usual. And, of course, we have our friend as well. Maybe we should say good morning to Zippy.
Okay. Alexa, good morning.
Good morning.
Well, thanks.
That's it.
That's it. And that's all you're going to get. I miss the time when they were, when they would like give you a little tidbit of information to get it started. Now it's just good morning.
Well, maybe we have to prompt Zippy a little bit. Alexa, tell a joke.
What's the hardest part about having an ant as a pet?
An ant.
Putting the leash on.
Well,
excuse me, putting the leash on an ant would be difficult.
Yeah. Well, listening to that joke reminds us to remind you that Logan Girardin will be coming in later today from Arrow Seed.
I think you can top that.
It wouldn't take much, I wouldn't think.
We'll have Arrow Seed in. We'll be visiting with Mark with Big Iron Auction Company, and Team Physical Therapy will be our guest. And we also believe that Jenny Benson will be in to visit with us. She is the president of the Nebraska State Education Association. And she'll be in this morning. And for Brent and I, that's a little scary. We'll try to act like we know what's going on in the world and that we're somewhat educated. But she looks like a very wonderful person with the bio we have here. Has worked in a lot of different places in teaching and education. So should be a fun conversation. She represents 28,000 public school teachers and other educational professionals across the state. So we'll be on our best behavior.
All right.
Maybe. To wait and see how that all goes out. Anyway, those are our guests, and we have a lot of things to talk about. Tomorrow, we'll be heading to Burwell to visit with the folks up there. We'll probably go to Dry Creek, Western Wear. That's where we went from ever, and always have a good time there. They always host us and let us visit with some of the folks that will be participating in the rodeo or some of the events in and around the rodeo that starts tomorrow. And it's the 100th year of the Burwell Rodeo. So this is a fantastic celebration that we are excited to find out more about. So we'll be doing that tomorrow morning in the 9 o'clock hour here on The Breakfast Show. Excuse me. And then look out. Here we come. We have baseball. We'll talk about it in a moment. But mixed in with covering the Burwell Rodeo tomorrow, we'll be talking extensively about the upcoming events at the Custer County Fair, including the Lineman's Competition, which is coming on Friday. And we'll be broadcasting live on Friday from the fairgrounds on The Breakfast Show. And we'll be visiting with folks who are involved in the Lineman's Contest, which originally was at the State Fair, or most recently at the State Fair, but now is here at Custer County's fairgrounds, which is exciting. And then we're also going to be visiting with some of the organizers of fair events that will be coming up at the Custer County Fair. So Friday will be a big day as well. Also on Friday, we'll be doing live streaming of the dog show, 4-H dog show, which is under the covered arena. And we had a question about that. Emily shot me an email. It actually starts at 5:30, the dog show, but we're not going to start streaming till 6:30. We're going to go from 6:30 to 8:30 because we did 2 hours last year and we started right at 5:30. And we wanted to catch some of the events that happen later on in the dog show. So we moved the 2 hours broadcast back a little bit. So we'll start at 6:30 and go to 8:30 so we can pick up some of the events that we didn't get to cover last year. And then on Saturday, and amongst this, we'll be interviewing lots of kids. The shooting starts on Friday. Shooting sports starts on Friday at the Paddock Building. We're going to try to catch some of those kids. Saturday morning, they'll be judging of the crafts and all the different entries. And we'll be talking with the kids during that and getting some interviews. And then Saturday night, we'll have the parade, which we'll be announcing at both the Custer County Chief location and the north side of the park downtown. And we'll be announcing that. We'll also have it for you on the radio on KCNI 1280 AM, 96.3 FM, and KCNI1280.com. We'd like to thank a couple of folks concerning the parade. First of all, the Tumbleweed Cafe, and we're going to talk about the Tumbleweed here in a moment anyway. They are providing the audio for you folks who can't make the parade so that you can listen to the parades as they're described, as the parade entries are described as they pass by. And that will be on KCNI and brought to you exclusively by the Tumbleweed Cafe. And they've been doing that for a number of years. And during that, we'll also be honoring one of their family members in memory, a couple of them maybe, that we've been doing for a while. And so that takes you through Saturday to the parade. And I don't know where you'll be at with baseball, so let's back up to baseball. We'll have a baseball game or two involved with all of this. And by the way, then on Monday, we begin our live streaming of all the judging of the entries, under the covered arena, the cattle, the hogs, the sheep, the goats, everything that is shown. If everything works out all right, you'll see that and hear it. We'll have that for you live streaming as we did last year throughout the day. So that happens. And then, of course, again, we're going to mix in some baseball. So we know when our next game is, right?
We do, yes. Broken Bow is still undefeated at the Class B Area 6 tournament. Big win yesterday, winning over McCook 4-1. And so because of that, Broken Bow is now assured a spot in the championship tomorrow. So I'll try to kind of explain all the scenarios here for you quickly. Broken Bow, first off, will play tonight against Minden. Minden defeated Holdridge in an elimination game to stay alive in the tournament. 9-5 last night was the final there. So Broken Bow will play Minden tonight at 8 o'clock. And we'll broadcast it on KBBN 95.3 FM and KBBN.com. Now, prior to that, there will be an elimination game played between Doniphan, Trumbull, and McCook at 5. So here are the scenarios. We'll first off give you the scenario if Broken Bow wins tonight. They would play tomorrow at 5 o'clock against the winner of Doniphan, Trumbull, and McCook. If Broken Bow were to win tomorrow at 5 o'clock, tournament over. If Broken Bow were to lose, because remember, Broken Bow is the only team now that hasn't lost yet. It's double elimination. So if Broken Bow were to play in the 5 o'clock game tomorrow and lose, the two teams would turn right back around and play for the championship at 8 o'clock tomorrow night. Should Broken Bow lose today, that's just their first loss of the tournament. So what would happen is Broken Bow would go to tomorrow night. They would play at 8 o'clock in the championship game against the winner of Minden versus the Doniphan Trumbull McCook winner. Did all that make sense?
Well, I'm going to be one of those listeners who just says, I'm going to wait until after the game's over today,
Okay.
and then we'll figure it out. But, yeah, you laid it out nicely. And the good news is the American Legion senior team for Custer County and Broken Bow is undefeated in the tournament, and they're in the driver's seat. If they can stay on that side of the car, it should be really, really good. And they have some advantages there by not losing. Yeah, it's good. And then I understand, and we don't know the schedule, but let's just put it this way. After Broken Bow, Custer County team wins, then they'll have to start packing up and getting ready to go to, Crete?
Crete. Yes, that's where the Class B state tournament will be played, and I believe it starts this weekend. So it'll be a short turnaround for whoever comes out of the area tournament. But bottom line, this is probably the best way to put it. Broken Bow plays tonight against Minden at 8 o'clock. Regardless of tonight's outcome, Broken Bow will play for the championship tomorrow. That's pretty cool.
Yeah, that's great. That's a great position to be in. And they've done that through good pitching and defense.
Yes.
And I think the team has performed really, really well.
Very
and
well.
They had the one win that was miraculous to keep them going. Sounded pretty strong yesterday, especially with their pitching and defense. A double play there that really made a big difference.
Yes, big play.
So, it only takes one or two big plays and can change the whole atmosphere of the game. So they'll just keep that up, and when they go down to Crete, we'll be there, like we've been all summer long,
There you go.
covering baseball.
Yep.
All right, we're going to play the game, and today is Tumbleweed Day, as we mentioned. And I think you have a note there for the Tumbleweed as well.
I do, yes. I want to let you know that the Tumbleweed Cafe would love to see you on Tuesday, August the 3rd. So mark that on your calendar. Tuesday, August the 3rd. They're going to be doing a drive-through burger bash at the Tumbleweed Cafe.
Cool.
All right. Now, again, this is Tuesday, August the 3rd. For $5, get burgers and fries, and the funds raised will support the Broken Bow football team. The boys will be there helping out, so swing by, talk to them, give them a hard time, wish them well as they get ready for the season, which, crazy enough, is going to be starting here before we know it. This, again, will be taking place on Tuesday, August the 3rd from 11 until 1:30. So it'll be late morning into early afternoon at the Tumbleweed Cafe. That's Tuesday, August 3rd, 11 to 1:30 is when it will be served. A drive-through burger bash in support of the Indians football team.
And by the way, if you've been following baseball at all, you know that Carmen and family have been deep into baseball. They're not getting much of a break.
No. And
Nor-
that's right during Fair Week,
Yes.
which I know the Tumbleweed is extremely busy during the fair, too, serving everybody. So, yeah, just a lot of things going on, but all the things going on are great and good things.
All right.
So,
Somebody will be lucky enough this morning to win a Tumbleweed meal at the Tumbleweed if they answer Brent's question correctly.
all right, here's your question for today. What soft drink has trademarked the slogan, "Obey your thirst"?
Obey your thirst?
Yep. What soft drink, or as Brent would say, pop, has trademarked the slogan, "Obey your thirst"? Is it A&W Root Beer, Sprite, 7-Up, or Mountain Dew? What soft drink has trademarked the slogan, "Obey your thirst"? Is it A&W Root Beer, Sprite, 7-Up, or Mountain Dew? If you know, call us at 872-2801. Eat at the restaurant where everything is right. The food, the service, the atmosphere, and the price. At the Tumbleweed Cafe, they look forward to serving you. Their menu is filled with home-cooked meals you're sure to enjoy. When your plate is clear, don't forget to choose one of their delicious desserts. You'll enjoy the many things that make Tumbleweed the favorite dining spot of so many folks. Whether passing through or setting a destination, enjoy your next meal at the Tumbleweed Cafe. East Highway 2, Broken Bow.
I believe we have Harold on the line. Good morning.
Good morning.
How's things going for you?
Pretty good.
Good. Well, maybe we can even make it better. Here's Brent.
All right, what soft drink has trademarked the slogan, Obey Your Thirst? Is it root beer, A&W root beer, Sprite, 7-Up, or Mountain Dew?
Mountain Dew.
No.
Oh, boy.
I'm sorry, Harold, that's not it.
Well,
No, it was not Mountain Dew.
we'll try
I'm
it again
sorry.
tomorrow. Yeah.
Thanks for calling, though.
Okay.
All right, have a good day.
Bye.
Bye.
7:45. That's your time. Take a listen to this.
Whether you're training for a marathon or spending all day on your feet, foot pain and poor gait mechanics can really drag you down. Pearson Physical Therapy is offering free stride and foot pain assessments the week of August 16th through the 20th. See our full range of custom foot orthotics casted right here in our clinic and see how proper gait mechanics can help reduce your pain, improve your movement, and so much more. That's the Pearson Physical Therapy Foot Pain and Stride Clinic the week of August 16th through the 20th. Call 308-872-5800 to reserve your free 30-minute assessment.
Rise and shine.
All right. The Get Up and Go Breakfast Show on KCNI KBBN.
Eric Clapton has a rock and roll heart, and we do too here at KCNI KBBN. We also have a very familiar face and voice here in the studio with us this morning, and it's not Logan Girardin.
No, it's not. No.
It's Becky.
Yay.
Yay, good morning.
Hi, Becky. Good to see you.
Hi, thank you. Good to be here.
Yeah, it's good to see you again.
Oh, so good seeing you guys, too.
Well, you've added some new flavors to Aeroseed. I think everybody we've talked to about it are very pleased what you've brought in with your expertise in retail and some of the things that you've brought to the store. I'm sure you've enjoyed that.
It's been really fun. And yes, we have brought some new things to AeroSeed besides seed, which is a very important part of their business. This is just a little sidekick that's kind of fun. And, you know, when the women walk in, they find something fun to look at too.
That's right. You've added some things, and we can talk about that now. Logan was planning on being here. He got a little delayed on some travel. So this gives us a chance to maybe talk about some of those things that you're involved in.
Right. Well, you know, this time of year, we like to be outside as much as we can. And it's really fun to create that outdoor space that you like to go to at home and just make just like an extra room, only outside of your home. Mm-hmm. And we have some things at AeroSeed to help you accomplish that. All of the companies that I'm going to talk about today, the products are made in the United States, so all made in the USA, which, you know, that's just an added feature that is great to know too. The first thing that I'm going to talk about is our wind chimes that we carry, and it's a really good line that it's going to last a long time. The purchase that you make, you know you're going to have it for years to come. We have 3 sizes, 27-inch, 30-inch, and 36-inch. And then we have different colors, too. We have silver, copper, and black. They're made of powder-coated aluminum. So just, you know, you're getting good quality. And they have such a beautiful sound. They're all hand-tuned, so it's not going to be that twangy, tinny sound that your neighbors don't like. It's going to be a beautiful sound.
I think I'm glad you brought that up, because I actually was going to ask you about it, because they don't necessarily always sound pleasant to the ear if they're not tuned correctly and are quality.
That's right.
Yeah.
And they're tuned beautifully. And Julie at the store, every time she walks by, she has to touch them so she can hear the sound. Yes. And then the next line that I want to talk about is our line with the flags and the mats. And now we have the mail wraps. And you heard me talk a lot about our flag and mat line that I used to carry. This is the same line, and again, it is the best line out there because I tried them all, and this one is the best quality. It's going to last. It's not going to fade. The mats aren't going to blow away. They're good quality. They're just going to hold up to our Nebraska weather. So, again, this is something for your outdoor space that you can make a statement with your flags. We have the flag holders for the garden flags. And then just so you know, I have a big fall and Christmas order coming in shortly.
Good.
So we'll be carrying a great selection of beautiful fall flags and mats, and now I'm bringing in the mail wraps. And what the mail wrap is it's a cover that goes over your mailbox, and it's magnetic. It stays put on your mailbox and basically just decorates your mailbox, makes it fun. So a lot of people were asking for those, and we're bringing those in. We're just kind of testing the waters. You know, I don't want to go overboard, so we're getting a few of those in. And we're also getting the large flags in. A lot of people wanted those. So those will be coming in shortly for fall and Christmas. Probably the middle of August, that order will be here.
Becky, the large flags, typically, what kind of, if you closed your eyes and imagine what would be on those, what would you find on them? It would be seasonal?
Yeah, there's a lot of seasonal ones, for fall with the pumpkins, and Christmas, the bright, vivid reds and greens, and I did do a lot of snowman. People here, they like to do snowman because you can basically put that up in November and it'll last till about March or April.
Really? That's true.
You're good to go, unfortunately. But so that's really exciting that we're continuing that line. People have supported it well, and so we have that to look forward to. And then the last line that I want to talk about is our furniture that we just got in. And if you drive by AeroSeed, you can see what we have setting out. Yes, those are for sale. You can buy what we have out there, or you can come in, pick up a catalog, and pick out what you want.
Okay.
So this is really going to add to that outdoor space. You can order anything you want from this company. It is hard to get, as you know, with a lot of supplies. Ordering it is 26 to 28 weeks out. So you're not going to have it for this summer. It would be for next summer.
Next spring, maybe.
Right. So if you want to start thinking about it and planning, come talk to me and we can look at the catalog. We also have fabric samples, and you can look at those and touch and feel and just see how you can really put together that outdoor space.
Yeah, and that's really the key there. I mean, yeah, you can order things online, but you never really know till it gets there what it does feel like and whether the quality's there. This way you can actually touch it and know what you're getting, right?
Right.
Yeah.
And it's beautiful furniture, and it's going to last a long time. What you get, it's going to last. It has a 20-year warranty. Not against fading. It can fade a little bit in color, but it's for the craftsmanship. It's going to last, the quality of it. It's made of polywood, which is recycled plastic, and it's comfortable to sit in. We have, outside we have 2 red Adirondack chairs. We have 2 rocking chairs that are in 2-tone grays, and then a matching table for that. And then we have a double glider. And it's in the wood. It's in a wood grain is what we chose with black trim, and it's beautiful. So, you and Joan could just sit on that and just hold hands and sing a song together.
There'd probably be a cat sitting in my spot.
Perfect.
So,
even better.
But the thing, I love the way you describe that, and then. We all like wood furniture. I think it's pretty cool, but after a while, if it's outside, you sit in and it starts wiggling because the weather gets to the joints and so forth, and you don't get to enjoy it very long. But with this, you make the investment, and you know it's going to be around for 20 years or more. Yeah.
And truly, if you want to, you can just let it sit outside year-round in the snow, in the rain. That's what it's made for.
Yeah. Yeah.
Personally, I don't think I would, but you can.
If you got a place to put it.
Let it sit. So it's great quality, and it would just be beautiful in that outdoor space that you're trying to create, and you'd be set for years and years.
Okay. Question on the flags and different things that you've discussed. Do you have anything with cardinals on it yet?
We do.
I figured you would.
Yes. In fact, right now I have one on display outside, and it has a big yellow sunflower with a red cardinal, and it goes so cute with the red Adirondack chairs. It just all tied together perfectly. I'm glad you asked.
I knew you'd pull through on the cardinals.
Of course. Everybody loves that, don't they?
They do. There's just something about a cardinal that makes you kind of happy.
Well, there's a lot of bird lovers, and we sell bird seed at AeroSeed. And right now they're mixing up the Finch blend, and a lot of people come in for that and the wild bird mix. And so I know there's a lot of bird watchers out there, and they take care of the birds. And I just find those people really sweet. I just think that's really cool when they come in and they're here for their bird seed, and I love that. So we do have a lot of flags actually with birds on them. We have finches, cardinals. So yeah,
Lots of different ones.
Yeah.
We're going to run out of time, but before we close, you mentioned the people who are bird watchers and the different people, the gardeners that come in. And I know that you've known a lot of people for years because of the pharmacy that you were in for years, and then you taught school for a number of years. So you know a lot of people here. But I've got a feeling you probably met some people since you went to Arrowseed that you didn't know before.
I have met so many great people, and I love that part. I love seeing our old customers. I used to cry when they'd come in because I missed them so much. I'm trying to get past that. But yes, it's so great, meeting all these ranchers and I've really enjoyed that. And, the team of people that I work with too is pretty great, and getting to know a whole new group of people that way too.
Yeah, and the business side of it with the things you're bringing in, and then learning about things they already have there.
I've learned a lot for sure.
A good adventure then.
It's been a great adventure. I'm thankful for my job.
Good. Well, I know people love having you there. I know that the Girardins love having you there. Arrowseed's a good team, so
they are.
Yeah.
It's a great company, and Broken Bow has a lot of great businesses in our town and area, and a lot of great business people, good minds and businesses, and we live in a very progressive county, I should say.
Yep.
A lot of great people.
All right. Quickly, before we close, I was going to ask, is your husband catching any fish?
Oh, not a one.
Oh, I bet he
gets
is.
skunked every time.
He does not. He probably goes out in a puddle in your driveway and catches a bass.
You're right, he does.
Jeez. Thanks, Becky.
You're welcome.
News is next, right here on The Breakfast Show on a Tuesday morning.
You are listening to the Get Up and Go Breakfast Show. Go, go, go! On KCNI, KBBN, Broken Bow, Nebraska.
CBS News Brief. With COVID cases and hospitalizations rising, even places like Provincetown on Cape Cod are imposing mask rules again. Town manager Alex Morse.
We think that with a mask mandate, we will see the test positivity rate go down at a faster rate.
In Washington today,
a new select committee on the January 6th attack is holding its first public hearing. Witnesses include law enforcement officers who were on the front lines that day under attack from a pro-Trump mob.
CBS's Anthony Mason. Simone Biles sidelined at the Summer Olympics. She'll miss today's team competition after an injury on the vault, and there's been another hit for the U.S. CBS's Steve Futterman from Tokyo.
This is certainly a major upset here in Tokyo. Naomi Osaka was given a good chance to win a medal, possibly even a gold medal, but she loses her third-round match in straight sets to a 42nd-ranked player from the Czech Republic.
CBS News Brief. I'm Deborah Rodriguez.
Here's a news brief on Nebraska news from the Associated Press. A Nebraska man who set a fire that forced the evacuation of a Missouri County jail has been sentenced to 10 years in prison for arson and other charges. Ethan Mark Bentley, 29, of Stella, Nebraska, was sentenced July 16th after pleading guilty to first-degree arson for setting a fire in his cell in January at the Nottoway County Jail. Jail officials were forced to evacuate 20 inmates through smoky, narrow hallways. Fortunately, no one was injured. The inmates were relocated to a nearby county jail or jails for about a month while the jail was repaired. That was according to a report from the Maryville Daily Forum. Bentley also pleaded guilty to 2 counts of first-degree assault, 1 count of second-degree domestic assault, and 1 count of felony resisting arrest. The charges came after someone saw Bentley assault a woman in a moving vehicle. Prosecutors said he fled when police tried to stop the vehicle and eventually hit a Maryville public safety car head-on, totaling both vehicles. As part of the sentence, Bentley was ordered to pay $5,000 restitution to the county.
From the Fox Sports Studios in Los Angeles, here's Eddie Garcia.
News from the NFL, where the Green Bay Packers are reportedly close to an agreement with quarterback Aaron Rodgers, the reigning league MVP, that would see him report to training camp and play for the team for at least this season. The two sides would then explore his future with the team after this year. In baseball games of note, the Red Sox beat the Blue Jays 5-4. Alex Verdugo's 2-run homer in the 8th inning was the difference. Boston now has a game-and-a-half lead on idle Tampa Bay in the AL East. The Mets and Braves split a doubleheader. Atlanta took game 1 2-0. New York came back for a 1-0 win in game 2 and now have a 3.5 2.5-game lead on Philadelphia in the NL East. The Phillies walk off with a 6-5 win over the Nationals thanks to an Andrew McCutchen 3-run homer. Mariners knock off the AL West leading Astros 11-8. It was the AL Central leading White Sox losing to the Royals 4-3. Angels down the Rockies 6-2. Shohei Ohtani the win for the Angels. At the Olympics in Tokyo, 17-year-old American swimmer Lydia Jacoby took gold in the 100-meter breaststroke. She's the first swimmer from Alaska to win gold at the Olympics.
Here's your weatherology forecast. A heat advisory goes into effect for this afternoon. For today, we'll see lots of sunshine with high temperatures working up into the mid-90s. Then for tonight, mostly clear, a low of 69. Wednesday's highs working up to 98 degrees with a good deal of sun. And for Thursday, still sunny and dry, 91. But do pick up a chance for some showers and storms then for your Friday. For the Weatherology Weather Center, I'm staff meteorologist Michael Carroll.
Do you check your Google search results regularly? You should. People often get their first impression of you or your business online. Negative comments on the internet can impact your life and your livelihood. Take control of your online reputation. Get your free reputation report card at reputationdefender.com. It may reveal negative posts from an ex-employee, upset patient or client, news article, legal issue, or even exposed personal information right there in your Google search results. Uncover what's lurking on the internet about you with reputationdefender.com's patented scan and get your free reputation report card. Or for immediate assistance with your reputation, call 800-401-6681. Our cutting-edge technology helps make your Google search results look their best. Call 800-401-6681. That's 800-401-6681. 800-401-6681. Or take the free scan at reputationdefender.com.
8:06. It is 70 degrees outside under a clear sky. Winds are calm. Barometric pressure is rising just a bit now at 30.07. Humidity at 92%. Yesterday's high was 89. It felt much warmer than that with the humidity in the air. An overnight low of 65. Sunset today at 9:02. Sunrise tomorrow morning at 6:30. And we have received 5 inches and 11 hundredths precipitation. Well, we're just having a good day today because we have guests in we haven't seen for a while, Brent.
Yeah, yes.
We have Becky Holcomb in from AeroSeed, and now we have Lindsay Bader in from Team Physical Therapy. How you doing, Lindsay?
Good. How are you?
Good. I don't want to get too personal on the air, but we were just talking about raising children, and you're right in the middle of that. You
Yes.
you look like you're surviving pretty well.
We're surviving, yes.
That's a challenge, but you're back to work and full steam ahead at Team Physical.
Yes.
And working and having kids. I don't think some people who haven't done that or been around it realize just how hard that is to do. So
It takes a lot of time and energy.
yeah, keep going. Keep going. All right, let's talk about what you have brought here today. We didn't discuss it ahead of time, but what would you like to highlight?
Well, so I generally teach a childbirth class at the hospital, or give a presentation at that a few times a year when they have the class up there. And so I go and present on physical changes that happen during pregnancy, and then kind of some of the things that happen after pregnancy, some misconceptions that happen around that time, and what role physical therapy can play through that time.
Now, during that discussion and or instruction that you give, do you highlight the fact that men are wimps?
I don't typically know.
Because we don't really know what pain and change of body is like the ladies do. I always marvel at how ladies who are going to have a little one continue working, continue doing the things that in most cases right up until almost delivery time these days.
You're right. Anymore these days, most women do work up until the point of delivery and then take anywhere from 6 to 12 weeks off and then are back to work. So there's a lot of changes that happen in a pretty short amount of time.
Yes. What are some of the things that people maybe don't realize that a woman's body goes through when they're pregnant and carrying a child?
Well, I think some of the things we don't realize are the fast changes that happen to a woman's body. So when a woman's pregnant, from about 10 weeks of pregnancy to about 6 months after delivery, a woman produces a hormone called relaxin, which helps relax ligaments. And so during pregnancy, it helps the pelvis stretch a little bit in preparation for delivery.
Mm-hmm.
And so that can cause some issues such as back pain, ligament laxity, which can cause more joint mobility. And so that's just going to cause aches and pains like neck pain, back pain, rib pain. But one thing we don't realize is that how quickly a woman puts that weight on. Because the typical pregnancy, a woman will put on anywhere from 25 to maybe 50 plus pounds within about 7 months' time.
Mm-hmm.
And so that's a pretty short period of time to put on that much weight and then lose it, lose about 15, 17 pounds pretty quickly right after delivery. So those are huge changes right there.
Mm-hmm.
That can affect a lot of things.
Yes, it can, and also then the job of after the delivery. Of course, the goal probably is to get some of that weight away.
Right. Yep.
And it doesn't happen that easily because you got a little one to take care of.
Right. And I always tell women, it took you 9 months to put it on. Yeah. Expect that or more sometimes to take it off because you have a new role of being a mom, and if you have other kids at home too, your time's pretty limited. It is important to try to get some physical activity, especially to build back up those muscles, especially your core muscles and your pelvic floor muscles, because that's going to keep symptoms like low back pain, pelvic pain, or incontinence away after delivery too.
And some complications sometimes or side effects would be, if the guys might remember that their wife's feet were swelled,
right,
or their ankles were swelled, and sometimes there's some side effects in the legs and things that come along with it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep. High blood pressure, diabetes. Those are all pretty common things that women may not have problems with prior to pregnancy, but pregnancy can bring those on for whatever reason.
Yeah.
So,
and of course, now. For the last 3 years, you can instruct with the experience that you've had yourself.
Yes, right. Yes, it makes me a little more aware. I myself have had a couple C-sections, and so that really brought to light to me the rehab that it takes after that.
We'll talk about that a little bit because let's face it, that is I don't want to say destructive, but it's invasive.
Oh yeah, I mean your stomach muscles are cut, and so to rehab that, I feel it's really important for women to have a referral to physical therapy just to learn how to rehab those muscles correctly, because if those muscles aren't rehabbed, some women will have what's called a diastasis recti, which is pretty common in the third trimester of pregnancy, which that's just a separation of the stomach muscles because the belly grows so quickly. For most women, that will come back together. For others, it doesn't. But that, and in the case of a C-section, it takes specific exercises to rehab that. So if you are a person that exercises, you may be able to relieve some of that yourself, but you may not either. If you're not doing the correct exercises, you may still have some issues like pelvic pain or back pain or rib pain with certain activities.
Lindsay, we've always come down to this when it comes to therapy. The pre-therapy sometimes is as important as the during and after.
Yep.
Sounds like maybe that's the case here. Now, certainly not every couple knows they're going to have a little one. Sometimes that's a surprise.
Right.
But these days, a lot of planning goes into it. So, do you want to ramp up your exercising a little bit going into a pregnancy?
Yeah. So some of the things you can do to help prevent some of these issues are to, even if you're doing a walking program, walking every day for 30 minutes, the American College of Obstetricians and Gynecologists does recommend 30 minutes of moderate intensity exercise for pregnant women. And, that goes along too for before you get pregnant too, doing a lot of core strengthening exercises, leg strengthening exercises too, like squats and lunges, because you're going to be picking up a baby a lot.
Yes.
So the core and pelvic floor exercises are really what I tell people to do a lot of, because that's going to help prevent your incontinence and low back pain. I took a course not long ago And he likened delivery to running a marathon. You know, all these hours and time is spent preparing for a marathon, for a race that you run for 4 hours, but many people don't do anything physically to prepare for delivery. And most deliveries on average will last 12 plus hours. You know, and so that's a long time to be in labor. And so I thought that was kind of interesting that it's like, yeah, that's a good analogy, that we don't do a lot to prepare for it. So it is important and will help with the labor and delivery. The stronger a woman is prior to that, typically it can make the delivery easier, and it can also reduce the need for medical intervention, like forceps or C-section. Not that it's going to guarantee those things won't happen, but it can make those things less common.
Well, this is a delicate question, so I'm going to try to be careful here. But especially in the latter stages of pregnancy, sometimes the lady will become a little bit short. Maybe a little depression there. There's some things going on with the body that she can't control, and she might be real happy, and then the next moment she might not be. Well, is there any therapy for that?
Not therapy I can provide, but yeah, I think there's some out there. Yeah.
Okay. I always feel sorry for, a gal, especially in the latter stages, because it's like an emotional roller coaster.
Oh yeah, I mean the hormones surging through a woman's body at that time are just crazy. Plus, I mean, on top of it, she's in the third trimester. You're very uncomfortable.
Yeah.
I mean, you're 3 times bigger than what you normally are.
Miserable.
And miserable.
Yeah.
You probably have swollen feet.
Yeah.
And so you're just over it by that time.
Yeah. Well, I think one of the things that struck me when I was with my wife is she said, after I had the boys, my rib cage was not the same. It was different. That's how much the body changes and adjusts to carry that little guy or gal in there. Your rib cage actually changes.
It does. It will expand, and that's, again, that hormone relaxin can be a wonderful thing in that time frame, because it does allow your rib cage to expand, because your organs will actually shift to allow room for the baby and your uterus to grow.
Yeah.
So yeah, our bodies are pretty amazing.
They are.
Things to change like that, to allow the baby to grow and be in there for that long.
So when we've got people out there listening, maybe they're in the middle of growing their family, or they're just starting, or whatever the case may be. Maybe it's a grandparent wants to know a little bit more about how they can help a daughter-in-law or daughter. How can they get in touch with you to get involved in some of the things you're doing?
So I'm at the clinic here in Broken Bow at Team Physical Therapy. Probably the best way to reach us is by phone at 308-872-5111. And the gals up front can help you get scheduled and get in contact with me. If it's just a couple questions you have, I can point you in the right direction there. If you're not sure if physical therapy is the right thing for you, we can always sit down and chat and see what's going on. But yeah, the phone's probably the best way to reach us.
Okay.
So.
Now, we kind of just jumped over your notes there. Did we cover everything that you wanted to talk about?
Oh, yeah. I just have it, so I...
Okay. All right. But I do want to put down my note here. Men are wimps. I've got that down.
I'm not arguing with you. Are you kidding me?
You've been pretty quiet over there.
I agree with Dave. Are you kidding? I stepped on a sticker the other day and thought I was going to die. I mean, for crying out loud. Yes, men are wimps.
Yeah, honey, I've got a cold. I don't feel very good. Oh, too bad.
Don't feel sorry for you.
No, I think it's an amazing thing. And, science and medicine has come a long ways, but it's still really down to the mom to take care of herself as best she can and try to stay strong. And you guys can help, right?
Oh, yeah. 20 to 80%, I mean, that's a huge range, but of women have low back pain during pregnancy. And, it's not something that is normal. A lot of times you'll get told, well, it's because you're pregnant. Well, no, not necessarily. Right. Physical therapy can actually help with that. We look at a lot of posture because there are so many postural changes, and then we can use our hands-on therapy and some exercise to help with that. So.
Yeah. I think it's
Yeah.
fascinating. I'm
Yeah.
glad you came in. It's fun to talk about probably one of the most wonderful things ever.
Lindsay, you mentioned the class that you do. Is there a class coming up, or
No.
No. Okay.
So they only do it a few times a year, and it just depends on interest.
Okay.
And I'm not sure that they're doing it anymore with the since they're not delivering babies anymore.
Sure.
So
Okay.
they had their last one here this spring, and so that's kind of going away with delivering babies up
Okay.
here.
So if anyone has questions, the best thing to do is just call and talk to you.
Yes.
Okay.
And no matter where you're having the delivery, you still need to make these preparations you're talking about, or you should.
Yes, you should. Yep. No matter where you go, it's important to prepare your body for these big changes.
Okay. Well, I hope you come back. We always enjoy having you, and congratulations. That's why I wanted to catch up before we went on the air, because as I remembered, I knew your family was growing, but you're full steam ahead. You've got a 3-year-old and
9-month-old.
9-month-old. You're a brave person. But you're having fun too, aren't you?
Yeah, we are.
Okay. All right. We'll take a time out. Team Physical Therapy, they'll take time to talk to you about these matters and anything else concerning your health. And it's all about prevention and then recuperation after whatever situation you're in. Thanks a lot, Lindsay.
Thank you.
We'll take a time out here on The Breakfast Show on a Tuesday.
Geared for Sports has what you need to participate in your activity. Of course, if you're needing something for the season right now, they have it too. But don't forget to get ready for the fall sports season in plenty of time. Football and volleyball top brands are at Geared for Sports. Shop with them Monday to Friday 10 to 6 and Saturday 10 to 4. Plus, when you talk to them right now, if they don't have something you're looking for, Scott can help you find it. They'll see you soon on the west side of the square in Broken Bow.
It's an exciting time of summer. County fairs, fun activities with friends and family. Come see us at Bo Bootery, because right now 4-H and FFA exhibitors receive $15 off of children's boots and $25 off adult boot sizes that are in stock. Good luck at the fair, kids. Plus, summer shoes are now marked at 40% off. Whoa! Come visit Bo Bootery and save on summer shoes, sandals, and flip-flops at 40% off. East side of the square in Broken Bow.
anywhere, and even faster than ever. Earn cash with a simple switch. This promotion is open to current and new Bruning Bank customers. Learn more at bruningbank.com or visit your nearest Bruning Bank location. Bruning Bank, member FDIC.
8:26 is your time. You're listening to The Breakfast Show on a Tuesday, and we appreciate that. We do expect a call from Mark with Big Iron Auction Company. We may have to pick up the phone and give him a ring. Sometimes he tries to call in the mornings, and I don't always catch that earlier. So hopefully I didn't miss him this morning. I did want to talk real quick about Chip.
Okay.
Because he's hip. He's no dip. He knows his insurance. Also, Liana, who is as hot as a plate of lasagna. But she also knows about all kinds of insurance.
Yes.
And they're expanding their insurance coverage, like, a second helping of lasagna.
Yeah. They really are expanding their business at Nebraska Owners Insurance Agency. If you have not heard, they did purchase earlier this month, actually as of July 1st, they purchased Troxel Insurance Agency. Of course, many of us know Tim and the great job that he has done serving the area in the insurance business. Now, here's the good news. They purchased Troxel Insurance Agency, but Tim is staying on. All right, so you can still visit with Tim. He's going to be a part of the Nebraska Owners Insurance Agency team now. He'll be staying on, but Chip, Karen, and Liana will also be available in the Broken Bow office on a rotating basis as well. Now clients of both offices will have more company options for coverage, but the same great service that you have become accustomed to. Also, a note, now that people are traveling more, they should really consider travel insurance. And Blue Cross has an excellent one that Liana can write that covers cancellations, loss of property, medical treatment at hospitals with English-speaking American doctors. So if you want to find out more about that type of coverage, contact Liana and the folks at Nebraska Owners Insurance Agency. You can call them at 836-2201. You can visit them on Main Street in Callaway, or now at the Broken Bow office, former Troxel Insurance location, which is at 914 South D, downtown Broken Bow. That's Nebraska Owners Insurance Agency.
8:28. We'll take a break and pick up the phone and see if we can get a hold of Mark Stock. And then I believe we have Janny Benson coming in, who is president of the Nebraska State Education Association. So stay tuned. That's all coming up next here on the Get Up and Go Breakfast Show.
Take a moment to think about the outdoor space at your home. Could it use freshening up or a complete change? Look no further than the Garden Center for help. They just got a new shipment of nice and full trees in. They still have beautiful perennials, as well as shrubs, soil, washed mud rock to fill things in, and their bagged mulch is back in. The Garden Center has moved to their summer hours, open Tuesday to Friday 10 to 5:30, Saturday 10 to 2, and closed Sunday and Monday. The Garden Center in Broken Bow.
Grocery Cart invites you to check out these deals and more marked right now. 8-pound average Hormel bone-in Boston butt pork roast is $2.28 a pound. And Best Buy fresh frozen bone-in split chicken breast is $1.18 a pound. In the produce section, delicious 1-pound packages of red ripe strawberries are 2 for $5, and so are pints of fresh blueberries. California summer ripe peaches and nectarines are both $1.98 a pound. Earn 300 rewards points when you buy King's Hawaiian dinner rolls at $2.98. Grocery Cart, East Highway 2, Broken Bow.
For those 62 years of age and for those that are handicapped or disabled regardless of their age, the Grand Generation Manor in Callaway has affordable housing available. An equal housing opportunity provider and employer. They're located at 200 South Grand Avenue in Callaway. The Grand Generation Manor.
Do you check your Google search results regularly? You should. People often get their first impression of you or your business online. Negative comments on the internet can impact your life and your livelihood. Take control of your online reputation. Get your free reputation report card at reputationdefender.com. It may reveal negative posts from an ex-employee, upset patient or client, news article, legal issue, or even exposed personal information right there in your Google search results. Uncover what's lurking on the internet about you with reputationdefender.com's patented scan and get your free reputation report card. Or for immediate assistance with your reputation, call 800-401-6681. Our cutting-edge technology helps make your Google search results look their best. Call 800-401-6681. That's 800-401-6681. 800-401-6681. Or take the free scan at reputationdefender.com.
8:31 is your time. We're going to get a little music going here from the Outlaws, and we're going to set up for Jenny Benson. Stay tuned. (8:34) as we continue with a great guest list here today. And we have Jenny Benson with us, who is president of the Nebraska State Education Association, which just scares the living daylights out of Brent and I because, well, Brent was a good student. I was not, and I was in trouble a lot. So I'm going to be on my best behavior for you.
That's all right. I know how to handle.
I bet you do.
Folks like you. Yes, I taught for 35 years, so my grandkids know that always once a teacher, always a teacher. So,
yes.
Yeah.
Well,
I can give you that look.
Oh, there it is, right there.
Mm-hmm.
That's scary. Mm-hmm. Actually, your background is pretty amazing. You worked a lot of different places, a lot of different types of educational situations. As you mentioned, 35 years, raised in Sutherland, later in North Platte, so you know this part of the country, and you've been in education a long, long time. So it's going to be fun talking to you about education at this point in time in Nebraska. And you were mentioning off the air about all the traveling you've been doing since we've been able to do that again. Maybe we should start there, and you could tell us how many miles you're putting on your car.
Yeah, I've been the president for 4 years, and I've traveled a lot. And I grew up in, central Nebraska. My ex-husband was from Crawford, so we covered the state quite a bit anyway, living in Lincoln and going across the state. But I thoroughly enjoy getting out and visiting schools. And yeah, I just had my 40-plus 1-year class reunion in North Platte this last weekend. So it was fun to talk to my friends that are there, but also to see, that kids are kids no matter what across Nebraska. And we just have to continue to look at that everything we're doing, no matter if it's controversial, no matter if it's just our usual work at school, it's all about our kids.
Mm-hmm. Just this morning, I believe it was on our CBS newscast, that they were rating states. I don't know if you heard that or read that. And I'm not going to pick on the states that didn't do very well. We weren't one of them, by the way. We were not mentioned at all. But one of the quotes at the end was from a parent, and I thought it was very, very good. And it was for one of the states that was rated badly. Says, you know what? I pay taxes. My kid deserves better than this. Mm-hmm. And where there are places where the educational process is not working very well, isn't there some truth to that?
Yes, I would agree there's truth to that. And in Nebraska, over 90% of our kids go to public schools. And that is very important to us because as I travel around and I look at, even votes that communities have had to keep their public schools, it's the lifeblood of the community. I mean, everything that's happening, whether it be sports or activities or things, they really want to keep their schools. And I think nationally that has been kind of pushed to the side lately. And it's important for us to look at, what do we need in our schools and how can we get the resources that we need. So we're getting quite a bit of federal money this year from the recovery money. And I think that our schools need to look at that and say, what is it that we haven't had the resources for? And is there something that we need to do for our kids, no matter, which school district they're in?
Yeah, very good. Brent may have some questions for you along the way, too. Brent, do you have some things you wanted to ask? Because, I feel like I should stay in the corner of the room with an educator like this.
Well, I guess one of my questions would be, I'm just curious, how did you become president of the Nebraska State Education Association? Because I know that you just don't graduate from college and immediately become this.
No.
So what led you to this position?
I tell stories all the time that, when you become a teacher, which right now we're having a teacher shortage. So I really want to emphasize that being an educator is a thrill and an honor of my life. Growing up in Sutherland, my father worked at the grain elevator for 46 years. And I washed dishes in the cafeteria to get free lunch. And never would there have been a thought in my head that I would do this work ever. And so as I started, jobs and looking at, things that I could do, I still wasn't really thinking about being a teacher. But then when I became a teacher and I moved to Texas, we lived there for 7 years, and it was a good experience to see the difference in things across the nation. And we got tired of vacationing in Nebraska, by the way. So we moved home because one thing, we wanted to raise our kids in Nebraska and have the public school that we had. And so then, somebody just asked me, hey, do you want to do this? And I was like, what is that? And then I really took a very traditional, I became a building rep and then on the board of directors and just got more and more involved in the policy and the procedures of making good decisions for the students. And I think sometimes unions, because I had no idea what a union was in Lincoln, Nebraska, unions kind of get a bad name sometimes because it's an agenda from outside the state. But we really focus on kids. And yes, we want good benefits and good working conditions and good pay for our educators. But the bottom line is that we get good educators and we have more successful students as well. And so to keep educators in Broken Bow or Sargent or Callaway is important, and we need to continue to do that. So I kind of just kept working at it, and teaching special education, I got to do a lot of different things, which kind of led me into that. But there's not a degree in how to be the president of a state association at all.
Well, the state association is so important because, correct me if I'm wrong, there's a real shortage, as you mentioned, of teachers, and there's a lot of pull from other states to grab those teachers.
For sure. I mean, we have to look at, people say don't be political. Well, when you are working for public education or you're working for a situation where you're funding everything, your resources, your decisions come from political entities and policy, it's very important that as a profession we say, here are the things that as educators we need for our students. And yes, it is political because you have to get out there and get that funding and make sure things are going well. And, we always talk about property taxes. We're 47th in the nation for state aid to school, which makes us rely heavily on property taxes. And there has got to be an answer to that. There's got to be a way that folks can sit down at a table and agree to disagree, but then come out with the best decision. Because bottom line, no matter what we're doing, we need to make sure that our kids are taken care of. I always say that children didn't choose the situation that they're in, right? They didn't say, ooh, I want to be born into a millionaire's family. No, they got dealt a lot that they were dealt, and they need to have the adults around them making good decisions so that they can be successful in the future.
Maybe I'm out of line here. I hope not. No. How much does the organization pay attention to bricks and mortar as compared to the actual educational process with the teachers and kids? So
infrastructure is incredibly important to us, and that includes what do schools look like. And I'll use Stapleton as an example. Stapleton has, in North Platte, you have all these different schools around, and they all share students, right? Mm-hmm. They have buses that come from Stapleton to pick up kids in North Platte. Same for Maxwell, Hershey, Brady, all of the area schools. Stapleton has tried to get bond issues passed because they have a very old building, but it's very full. I mean, there's a lot of kids. They may not live in Stapleton. Some of them, come from North Platte and other areas, but that school building is very important. So I will tell you, I had lunch with Congressman Bacon on Friday. One of the bills that we are working on nationwide is about that infrastructure, because instead of burdening the taxpayers in Nebraska, let's use some money that we're already paying. I always laugh because people say, oh, we don't want this money from the federal government. Well, where do you think they got that money from? They got it from us, right? Like, I'm just saying, they got it from us. Let's get it back. And that's what this bill that Congressman Bacon signed on with me to be a co-sponsor of this infrastructure bill that would then come back to Nebraska to help communities like Stapleton be able to do that without having to raise property taxes to do a bond issue. So we're very involved in that. We Hershey just had a bond and reached out to us because they were looking to, part of the bond is convincing people that it's a good idea. Why do I want to pay $20 more a year? Right? And to break it down to what those dollars are really is very important. And so we work with districts across the state for those kind of things. Yeah. And with those numbers you mentioned earlier about our dependence on property tax to support our education here in Nebraska, then we have agriculture, the number one industry here in the state, and it makes for a difficult situation, doesn't it? It sure does. And I think that everywhere I go, when we're talking to our school board members who are farmers, we're talking about what does that look like when we have over 160 unequalized school districts, meaning that they are only getting property tax and they're getting very little state aid to help them with these expenses. And so, and lots of times you have area farmers who are paying the brunt of that because they own, a lot of the land around. But then you have a community like Hastings, who is what we call landlocked, right? They don't have that ag property because that is in Adams Central or that is in other districts. So they're very landlocked. And so they are in a struggle because of property taxes as well, but in a whole different way because they're not receiving those benefits around. We also give a lot of tax incentives to a lot of corporations, and we need to look at that and say, okay, is this bang for our buck, right? And where should we put those investments that they're going to be spread across the most people instead of just benefiting a few? So those are always things that we look at when we're talking about policy and politics. Mm-hmm.
switching gears a little bit, your background, you as an educator worked with kids who were, gifted with, studies came easy to them, and then you had kids where they had to work really hard to get a C.
Mm-hmm.
I have a feeling, just getting vibes from you, that you worked hard with those kids that got a C.
You bet I did. And, and just like in our own families, we have students, you have the same mother and father, and you have kids that have different learning abilities and different interests, I mean, I taught the last 2 years before I became president at the Career Academy in Lincoln, and I was the special ed coordinator, resource teacher, with about 50 students that were there from welding to engineering. I mean, we had 18 different pathways, which I think really is what we really need to focus on, is saying, not every kid's like fitting into this mold, and everybody learns a little differently. And I, now as I go, I was in Bridgeport, and they do a thing with the community college, but they are looking maybe not for the same kind of workers, but they want people to go into ag. And we had an ag science program, but they, the farmers and the industries around Scottsbluff and Bridgeport, they need those workers as well. And some of those kids need to be prepared to just step out of high school with, maybe dual credits. Maybe they have our welders at the Career Academy could step out with a certificate, or they could take 2 more years at Southeast Community College. But I'll tell you, they went to work at Kawasaki and making, $30 an hour right out of high school. That's important for us to look at that and not to just write kids off, and say, oh, well, they didn't fit into that, college level mold. Because if they had written me off, I took that aptitude test in 7th grade, and they said, you will be a great secretary. And I was like, okay. I got to high school, and we were just talking about Miss Shields, the typing teacher. Yeah, she put black tape on my keys. I'm guessing I wasn't going to be a very good secretary, So I just think it's very important for us to look at the needs and the individual, things. I mean, some of the kids, they have way better talents in certain things than they do, My son's a major in the Army, and I always said a tree could teach my son, because he was just one of those kind of kids, right? He went to the United States Military Academy at West Point. He just taught there for 4 years. But he had a great public education. And some of the kids he went to West Point with literally had to go to another school for a year to get ready for West Point. Public education's not like that in Nebraska. He, was able to do these things. So I'm very proud of that. But I'm also proud of my grandkids who may, struggle and have things that they need to work on.
Sure.
So I think that's very important, for us to look at every child individually.
Yeah. And that's a task. That's a challenge. With the financial side of it, you mentioned number of teachers you have. Some of the requirements that come down from the federal level on teaching, it's kind of a maze to get through, isn't it?
Yeah, I think that, and again, lots of things have become political and divisive that really don't need to be divisive. I think that there are things when someone told me, oh, those teachers in California. Well, you know what? Let's focus on Nebraska and let's see what we're doing here. And I think right now we have a lot of noise about all these things, and we need to break through that noise and just say, well, if we're going to make a decision, we're going to make a decision for Broken Bow, or we're going to make a decision for Callaway, and we're going to listen to the experts for COVID. We're going to say, just as I want someone to look at me and say, hey, in special education, what do you think about this? Because I'm the expert, right? That's my career. I wouldn't profess to come in and do a radio show. I'm not a professional in the radio business, but I am a professional in the education business. And I think sometimes there's just a lot of noise that takes away from our major focus. And our major focus should always be about teaching kids, making sure that they are safe and learning, and making sure that we're wrapping around whatever services they need to be successful without being judging on, what their parents are doing or what their situation is. That's not our job. Our job is to say, all right, you're coming to me. What can I do to help you leave me with the best learning that you have, and also to be a good person.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's a good goal to have. Brent, do you have some questions?
Well, I guess one thing that comes to my mind, can you talk just a little bit about what kids now are expected to know when they enter kindergarten? Because that has changed over the years. Right. And can you just talk about that a little bit and the importance that early childhood education has become?
For sure. I mean, I laugh because when my son went into kindergarten, he left kindergarten reading Brown Bear, which is not reading. It was, I memorized this book. Look, Mom, I can read. Brown Bear, what do you see? I see a red bird looking at me. That was what they were doing. Now kids come out of kindergarten writing 35, 40 words, like being able to spell them, being able to do these things. Early childhood, if you haven't had that and you're coming in with a whole different vocabulary, so a kid that hasn't had early childhood may come in with thousands of vocabulary words less than a kid that's been in early childhood or been in a family situation where those are priorities for them. They're not being read to, they haven't had those backgrounds, and then you come in and you have 25 kindergartners that are all between the ages of 5 and 6 that all have different experiences. And so trying then to say, gosh, look at what we're doing. I could get on a real big soapbox about that, but what we need to do again is to look at the individual needs, which is very difficult when there's one teacher and 25 kids. And so making sure that, and our state has been looking at that early childhood and daycare and those kind of things. But my daughter, I was just talking to her, she has her MBA in human resources and works for a nonprofit in Lincoln. And they're trying to hire for Head Start. They're trying to hire teachers' aides and teachers and all of these things. And they're a nonprofit, so they can't pay very much, right? They're not a public school, and they're not, have the benefits and different things. And it's very difficult then to find kids to say, ooh, I really want to do this. And daycares and those kind of things have been hit very hard by COVID. So I think that it's our responsibility to say, to our community colleges, again, the Career Academy, we had an early childhood program that worked with Southeast Community College. I think that as you look across the state and in communities where it's less and less, finding good early childhood, but finding good daycare is very difficult as well, because they're not being paid a lot, And again, these are our priorities. And so, but communities like Hershey started a Head Start program, federal program, looking at federal dollars, bringing them in. It's very important for us to look at all those resources and say, how can we do this? And then look at nonprofits that are doing the work as well and help them to give those resources to kids. It doesn't take a rocket scientist to figure out that the earlier that you work with kids and the better they are in their early years, it pays dividends. People are not patient, though. Right? They say, oh, why should we invest in early childhood? But gosh, I feel like we just keep investing in prisons. Why is it that that's so easy to invest in? That's a whole nother story and a whole nother day on the radio.
Well, I think it we're come full circle here with what you're just talking about. The kids themselves have no control when they're born into this world. Their family's income, is it a functional family? All of these things that we know are challenges for kids out there because they have no control when they come in to what they're coming into. And by the time they get to kindergarten, there's going to be a lot of difference in the kids' levels of what they've learned. Right. And so the teacher that's there has 20 kids with all different levels of, learning experience. So it just makes sense that we need to spend some time there. I think No politics, no financial here, just the idea that each one of those kids deserves that chance.
That's right. And then again, it's if you really break it down, and I, like I said, never planned on doing any of this, but I always liked kids, right? I started babysitting when I was, 11 years old and always took care of children. But it was always like you didn't really think about all those things. I didn't think about that my family was poor, because we were very connected, right?
And happy, yeah.
Right. And we, and we had a huge extended family, right? That, we went to Grandpa and Grandma's farm, or we went to Aunt and Uncle's farm in Stapleton, and we were cousins, and we did all these things together. And now I think that, it's just so difficult for families who are working 2 and 3 jobs, I mean, we didn't have a lot of money, but my mom stayed home, right? And except for Wednesday, she was at Circle. And my brothers didn't like to do the work needed for free lunch because they were embarrassed. So they ate Velveeta and ketchup sandwiches. Yeah. And so, I mean, those are stories that you need to hear from kids, right? And so when people say, why should we have free and reduced lunch for kids? Well, because how do you learn if you're hungry? Right? How do you come in with the same ability to do those things? And so for me, I mean, last year during COVID, that was one of the federal programs was everyone got free lunch. Well, when you're right on the edge and you don't get, it's expensive to pay for lunch for 3 or 4 kids. Right. Yeah. And so that was a money saver for many families who may have been laid off or, their work was affected by COVID. So I think, you just have to look at the bigger picture. And we had a presenter at a conference last week in Lincoln, and he said he goes out, he's a principal, he goes out and buys dollar reading glasses at the Dollar Tree. And he gives them to each of his teachers. And he says, you need to look at every kid through a different lens. You cannot just look at through your lens. You have got to look at every kid through a lens that shows what that child needs from you. And I thought that was pretty impressive too. That's a really good way. And he said, I give them to my teachers. They set them on their desk. And when they're frustrated, they can say, okay, I need to look through this lens. Johnny hasn't really had a good weekend because his family's struggling. My lens needs to be then, here you are, Johnny, you're safe. Let's get to work and let's help you. So.
And by the way, it doesn't mean that if there's a family out there that has everything they need materially, or a functioning family that's happy and good for a child's environment as well. Right. So
no, it doesn't. Everything you put on Facebook's not real. Right?
Really?
Everything you read on the internet's not real.
Oh boy!
And so there are families all across that are struggling, and it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
Those kind of things. So I think that is super important for us to understand. So
we are out of time. I think we could talk about a lot of different things here. Before we close, though, you had some points you brought in. Is there something you wanted to mention that we didn't talk about during our conversation?
No, I just, the only thing that I just want to keep reminding folks is that, I say this a lot, that, kids the ages 5 to 18 are only about 24% of the population in the United States. But they are truly 100% of our future. And I know that may sound cliche, but that is why we do the work we do at NSCA. That's why our educators every day come to school and snarf their lunch down and spend time with kids and, have a 20-second bathroom break, because they are committed to, they chose this career for the outcome, not for the income. So I think we're really going to keep focusing on the positive, but also helping folks make sure that we have the resources we need to help all kids.
Jenny Benson, our guest today, president of the Nebraska State Education Association. Come back and see us whenever you like.
You bet. All my information's there. So, when the legislature goes in session, give me a call.
All right. Thank you very much. News is next.
You are listening to the Get Up and Go Breakfast Show. Go, go, go! On KCNI, KBBN, Broken Bow, Nebraska.
CBS News special report. The first public hearings into the deadly January 6th attack are beginning right now inside the U.S. Capitol. CBS News' Zach Hodak says the first witnesses will be law enforcement officers who were on duty at the time.
We're expecting it to be the most extensive time we've heard them talk about that day. And we're going to get just much more into the experience that these guys had on that day, being entirely outnumbered.
The host panel includes 7 Democrats and 2 Republicans. CBS's Laura Podesta.
House Minority Leader Kevin McCarthy withdrew all 5 GOP nominees after Speaker Nancy Pelosi rejected 2 of them. Pelosi responded by appointing 2 GOP lawmakers, Wyoming's Liz Cheney and Illinois' Adam Kinzinger.
Kinzinger spoke ahead of the hearing.
Kevin decides they want to punish Liz Cheney and I for getting to the bottom and telling the truth. I think that probably says more about them.
CBS News special report. I'm Deborah Rodriguez.
From the Fox Sports Studios in Los Angeles, here's Eddie Garcia.
News from the NFL, where the Green Bay Packers are reportedly close to an agreement with quarterback Aaron Rodgers, the reigning league MVP, that would see him report to training camp and play for the team for at least this season. The two sides would then explore his future with the team after this year. In baseball games of note, the Red Sox beat the Blue Jays 5-4. Alex Verdugo's 2-run homer in the 8th inning was the difference. Boston now has a game-and-a-half lead on idle Tampa Bay in the AL East. The Mets and Braves split a doubleheader. Atlanta took game 1 2-0. New York came back for a 1-0 win in game 2 and now have a 3.5-game lead on Philadelphia in the NL East. The Phillies walk off with a 6-5 win over the Nationals thanks to an Andrew McCutchen 3-run homer. Mariners knock off the AL West leading Astros 11-8. It was the AL Central leading White Sox losing to the Royals 4-3. Angels down the Rockies 6-2. Shohei Ohtani the win for the Angels. At the Olympics in Tokyo, 17-year-old American swimmer Lydia Jacoby took gold in the 100-meter breaststroke. She's the first swimmer from Alaska to win gold at the Olympics.
Here's your weatherology forecast. A heat advisory goes into effect for this afternoon. For today, we'll see lots of sunshine with high temperatures working up into the mid-90s. Then for tonight, mostly clear, a low of 69. Wednesday's highs working up to 98 degrees with a good deal of sun. And for Thursday, still sunny and dry, 91. But do pick up a chance for some showers and storms then for your Friday. For the Weatherology Weather Center, I'm staff meteorologist Michael Carroll.
News and weather was brought to you today by Custer Electric and Irrigation in Broken Bow. As we transition from prep season to watering season, Custer Electric and Irrigation wants to remind you of important offerings that set them apart. They are once again offering free FieldNet and NFTrax demos for this growing season. Demos are limited, so call today to reserve your pivot control or set of NFTrax. Want to skip the demo and buy? Custer Electric and Irrigation recently installed 4 radio bridges that allow the service area for telemetry and FieldNet to expand where you may not previously been able to get it. These bridges also mean cheaper annual subscriptions, so talk to Lance to see what he can do for you. In need of tires but don't want to upgrade to NFTrax? Custer Electric has 11.2 by 38 tires on hand and ready for your pivots. Finally, is your pivot leaking more water than irrigating? This is your reminder to not settle for second best on sprinklers. Update your sprinkler packages today for install before service season. For all this and more, call Lance at 880-1507. Check them out on Facebook or at custerei.com. Custer Electric and Irrigation. Experience the difference.
9:03 is your time. And honestly, can't see across the room with these glasses on to tell you what the temperature is. I could look at my phone, though. Or maybe we could ask our new friend. Does he know the temperature?
Okay. Alexa, what's the temperature in Broken Bow, Nebraska?
Right now, it's 70 degrees Fahrenheit. Today, expect a high of 94 degrees.
All right.
I think
there you go.
I think you're full of beans on the 70.
I was going to say, it's got to be hotter than that by now.
Let me look here. 75.7.
Okay.
He's looking at the airport's temperature, which is
probably from the previous hour, too.
Yeah, that's what happens. That's why we didn't have the Weather Eye people do the temperature anymore, because they were always 45 minutes behind. And it really wasn't ever correct, except in the winter when it stayed 2 below all day.
Yeah, there you go.
All right. We did make contact with Mark Stock. So Mark was late coming in on a flight. So we have a recorded conversation with Mark that we're going to play for you here in the 9 o'clock hour. But before we do that, did I tell you that Liana is as hot as a plate of lasagna? Oh, wait, we already did that live read.
Yes, you did.
Here he goes to his island again. Did I tell you how nice the Beaumonts are at Ansley Lumber and Supply?
You have, yes, you've told me that many times, and they are nice.
Brian and Heidi.
Yeah.
And Tim.
Doing a great job with the business over there.
Yeah. They have so many different shades of paint. You got to go see them in person to find out how to mix that up just how you want it.
Absolutely. Yeah, they've got everything you need, from premium lumber to metal for metal buildings to GAF shingles to Benjamin Moore paint with over 3,500 colors.
Wow!
I can't even imagine over 3,500 colors. I didn't know that many colors even existed. Also, for those of you wanting to add a deck or even update your existing deck, talk to them about their decking options available. They can order just what you need to create the perfect place to relax and host your get-togethers this summer and beyond. Also, don't forget Ansley Lumber and Supply offers whole new home building packages. Consultations from their professionals and delivery are available too. So give them a call today at 935-1815, or you can stop by Ansley Lumber and Supply. It's locally owned and operated. You'll find it right there in downtown Ansley. They're open Monday through Friday, 8 to 5:30, and also open on Saturday for your convenience from 8 until noon.
If I could think of another word that rhymed with Liana, I'd change up that little saying, but I just can't come up with one.
Yeah, I'm trying to help you out there. I don't know. I will give you credit. I mean, lasagna does rhyme.
Well, and I didn't know it until recently that was actually Liana's nickname in school.
Are you serious?
They called her Lasagna.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, wow. Okay.
And they called Chip.
Oh.
Because he's
hip.
Ability that delivers results, backed by 25 years of innovation. That's the Roundup Ready Extend crop system, the system of choice. XtendiMax is a restricted-use pesticide. Always follow stewardship practices, all pesticide label directions, and check with your state pesticide regulatory agency for specific restrictions in your state.
K-Todd. Rock Rewind. Hi, I'm Todd Chambliss, a fan of rock and roll from the 60s through the 90s, and your host for K-Todd Rock Rewind. It's my classic rock radio show that plays the best rock from the past 40 years. We'll have lots of rock and roll memories from TV and the movies, and your requests at 315-665-1970. Stay tuned for the next rock and roll ride on K-Todd Rock Rewind. K-Todd Rock Rewind, 1 p.m. Wednesday and Thursday afternoons on the Thunderbird 95.3 FM or at kbbn.com.
9:13 is your time. You're listening to The Breakfast Show, and that means a lot to us. We appreciate it very much. Also, birthday time. We didn't take care of that earlier this morning. Richard Still is having a birthday today.
Really? All right.
Yeah.
Happy birthday.
Woo,
Richard.
man, he's getting old. Holly Moody celebrating a birthday today. And Amanda Klemke is celebrating a birthday today. And they are celebrating birthdays with Jordan Spieth.
Oh, the golfer.
28 years old.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, man, not even 30 yet. Wow.
He was Rookie of the Year in 2013, a former world number one and three-time major winner. He's been kind of struggling his way back. He's been in some of the top 5 positions here lately.
Mm-hmm.
Also, A-Rod.
Oh, Alex Rodriguez.
Yep.
I assume he won't be celebrating his birthday today with Jennifer Lopez.
No, she's with Ben.
Yeah, I saw that. I saw that Jennifer and Ben Affleck are back together.
Yeah,
that's wonderful.
They've been smooching in public.
Yeah.
A-Rod is 46 today.
Okay.
It shows him here as an all-star shortstop, business entrepreneur, and recent ex of Jennifer Lopez. That's quite a resume. Also, Triple H is having birthday today. Does that ring a bell with you?
Triple H, you bet. The Game.
What?
The Game. You're talking about the wrestler, right?
Yeah.
He's known as The Game.
Oh, I didn't know
that.
that.
The Game. You bet. Triple H.
Is he still wrestling?
I think he's kind of retired from active wrestling. Now, he still, I believe, gets involved in some of the storylines yet. But he's married to Stephanie McMahon, the daughter of Vince McMahon, who, owns the whole WWE thing.
Well, no wonder he's 14-time world champion then.
Oh, yeah.
Which doesn't mean anything anyway. If you actually study wrestling carefully at all, there's no champions.
You don't think it's real?
Moving along, here's a positive story. Paralympic medalists now earn as much cash as Olympians. And I didn't know they earned cash. Did you?
No, I didn't know.
I thought Olympic medalists, that's what they got, the medal.
Mm-hmm.
For the first time ever, though, Paralympic athletes will get the same amount of cash as Olympic medal winners.
Good.
Athletes now get $37,500 for each gold medal at the Paralympics. Ditto for Olympic athletes. Silver medal gets a little more than $22,000, and bronze comes in with a check for $15,000. I didn't know they got money with them. I thought they were supposed to be. Well, not anymore. They can be professionals. They don't have to be amateurs.
Yeah,
not that the
true.
Russians ever were. That's 5 times more than they used to get, by the way. So they've raised the ante here.
Mm-hmm.
And the Paralympics, by the way, start on August 25th. Amazing.
Yeah, it really is amazing to
athletes.
watch some of that.
Yeah.
Yes.
All right, we're going to get to Mark Stock in just a moment. But first, we're going to have some good times. Oh, there's the phone again.
The phone?
That's John Cox.
Oh.
Got a note. John Cox
Oh, yeah?
calling again. He wants to hear China Girl again.
Oh, that David Bowie song?
Yeah.
I keep forgetting that that's like his favorite. Boy, how many times in a month do you get a call from him wanting to hear that song?
Well, he kind of quit calling for a while, but we played it.
He played it the other day, and
then he
yep,
called in, and
there
now
you
he's
go.
calling every day. I think it'd be farming or something, or golfing.
Yeah.
Good morning, Mark.
I tell you what, boy, we're ending up here July with a big sale. Tomorrow, over 1,500 items. Today, we've got some real estate selling. Tract of land by Oberlin, Kansas, folks, with a commercial building, a 60-foot wide by 100-foot long building that's got a 30 by 32-foot unfinished office area. Will be sold today, folks. So if you dial up BigIron.com and you have some family or you're looking to relocate a business, this building is up and it's got the wiring all done. It's got radiant heaters. It's got ceiling fans. It's all the electrical is in play, and it's sitting on a nice little tract of land by Oberlin, Kansas. Now, Lee Ginneman, the Big Iron Realty sales rep, is handling the sale, and he is on location today, too. So if you go to our website, you have questions, you can give him a call, and then you can bid from wherever you're at right now on this property that will be sold today on BigIron.com. Now, tomorrow, folks, as I mentioned, over 1,500 items that will be sold. If you're looking for some Massey Ferguson combines, the Ozentowski brothers by Bellwood, Nebraska, they're selling 2 of those. They got some Drago corn heads and some flex heads that'll fit right on those machines. We've also got a nice selection of tractors, folks. I think all in between tomorrow's sale and what we have listed right now for August, there's over 250 tractors that will be sold on BigIron.com, over 103 different combines. And I know there's kind of a shortage of some grain trailers, but we've got over 40 grain trailers that will be sold here on Big Iron. We've got close to 100 semi-truck tractors that will be selling as well. So if you need those items to get your bins emptied out, or you're getting ready for harvest, or you're moving some summer wheat crops into town, BigIron.com's got a great selection of those items selling to the highest bidder tomorrow. Now, we've got skid steers. We got construction-related items as well. We've even got campers and boats and motorcycles selling on BigIron.com. Just a nice lineup of a lot of good quality equipment selling tomorrow. Now, if you don't see what you're looking for on tomorrow's sale, just take a look on the Wednesday sales that are proceeding, because the month of August is going to be a huge month here on BigIron.com. One of the featured sellers that we have is going to be C.L. Werner out of Montrose, Colorado. C.L. Werner is the founding father of Werner Enterprises, all the trucks you see going up and down the interstate. Well, he's also got some farmland and some ranch land and some feedlots, and we're selling those on August the 10th. These properties are located by Olathe, Colorado, on the western slope. If you've always dreamed of having a house or a business or a farm in that area, 7 tracts of the C.L. Werner Western Colorado Western Slope land will be selling on Tuesday, August the 10th, and then his unbelievable lineup of farming equipment, livestock feeding equipment will be selling here on Wednesday, August the 11th. Just pre-talking about a couple of the silage trucks. There's some Freightliner trucks. They got fancy silage boxes on them, real low-mile trucks. They got a John Deere 7800 forage harvester selling with a head that's got like 1,000 hours on the cutter. They have got 4 of these hay processing machines that are just like brand spanking new. It's got a big hay buster, hay grinder as well. A lot of vehicles, so many tractors. Just a tremendous offering of good quality equipment for C.L. Werner. Now, that's just one particular seller that's taking place in August. We've got a lot of retirement sales. There's over 20 different retirement sales just selling in the first couple sales in August on BigIron.com. And we've also got a lot of land that's going to be popping up, folks. Our guys and gals with the real estate licenses on the real estate side have been busy listing land that will sell at auction. We've got a property in Gosper County, a couple properties in Gosper County that will be sold, folks. One's a private treaty listing, folks, a half section of farmland that's got a windshield wipe pivot on it, fresh on the market, a great tenant in place that would like to stay as a tenant if you buy it as an investment, but it's just been listed on the market. It's south of Elwood, Nebraska, And if you are in the market for some land in that area, don't hesitate. It's probably going to be a pretty quick mover. We've got other properties that are popping up that will be sold at auction or listed for private treaty. So stay attuned to BigIron.com and BigIronRealty.com. And if you have equipment you would like to sell, we encourage you to call your local rep sooner than later, because they're getting real busied up here, folks, listing equipment that will even be sold in November and December. A lot of folks that are making those decisions now, and we're out there getting the pictures and shooting the video footage for those auctions that will come up later. Remember the classic car sale that's coming up here the middle of September after Husker Harvest Days? We also have a classic collector tractor auction that's going to be coming up here, I believe, in October. So if you've got some tractors restored and you haven't used them for a while, or if you just want to let somebody else enjoy them after you've got the work and the love and the labor put into them, we're going to have a big sale, folks, of collector tractors coming up later on this fall. So dial us up here at BigIron.com at 1-800-937-3558, or go to our website, BigIron.com or BigIronRealty.com for more information.
Thank you, Mark. Enjoyed your report. Always fascinating. Look forward to having you back again next week. Also looking forward to a different cup of coffee, something kind of good, or maybe going in and having something different to eat in an establishment that kind of prides itself on having options from the norm.
That's right. You'd be talking about Prairie Grounds Cafe and Gifts. You'll find them right here in Broken Bow, Nebraska. And we're coming to the end of July, so there's just a couple of days left to take advantage of their featured drinks for the month. And here's a list of them. Featuring this month, the Blueberries and Cream Frappe, the S'mores Iced Coffee, the Iced Scouts Macchiato, and make sure you try out their delicious summertime Italian sodas. Great flavors, cherry, raspberry, passion fruit, lime, and strawberry. And you can make it a cream soda for just 60 cents more. So try those out at Prairie Grounds Cafe and Gifts in Broken Bow. Also, make sure you check out their delicious lunch specials that they do. And, of course, they have that beautiful patio area out back that you can get together and enjoy a treat and have fun with friends and family. They're open Monday through Friday, 7 to 4, open on Saturday from 8 until 2. And don't forget to check out their unique gifts in the gift shop portion of the store. They feature a lot of Nebraska-made crafts and items in the store, too. So check it out at Prairie Grounds Cafe and Gifts in Broken Bow.
9:27, it's about time that we brought a little bit of more culture to the show.
Oh. You going to play Larry the Cable Guy or what?
No.
Oh. Well,
No.
I think he's cultured in my book.
I know. That's true. but you have a chance to take in some culture and some art on Sunday, August 1st at the Broken Bow United Methodist Church at 7 p.m. Maurice Sklar will be performing. He's an internationally acclaimed violinist and recording artist. And this is in conjunction with the 2001 Custer County Fair. This is the concert event that they've always had on Sundays. But over the years, they had it in front of the grandstands. But a while back, they ran into some weather on one night and moved to the United Methodist Church. And they realized, you know what? This works just really nice. People can get in and out real easy. And they don't have to worry about the weather. They'll have the event no matter what.
And it's climate controlled.
Yep. And the acoustics are good. So here's a little sample of what you can hear on Sunday night at the Broken Bow United Methodist Church. Maurice Sklar, a little sample here for you of some culture and some art. Not all-star wrestling, not championship wrestling, not other things.
Okay.
Like reality shows and things like that. We're going to...
All right. Okay.
I didn't cut that off. It cut off. I didn't do that.
Wow.
Yeah.
Now, see, okay, listening to that is great. It's one thing. But when you go watch someone like this live, that's like 5 times better.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
You bet.
I mean, just the music in and of itself is great, but when you're able to watch someone play a violin like that, what a treat. So treat yourself and make sure you show up to the show.
Sunday, August 1st at 7 p.m. at the Broken Bow United Methodist Church. Maurice Scalar will be performing for you, and they usually do a free will donation for that and to pay for the cost of getting the artist to the show.
Good.
Baseball today?
Baseball tonight, Broken Bow against Minden from the area tournament. Game time at 8. You'll be able to hear it live on your home for Broken Bow American Legion Baseball, KBBN.